Black in Djibouti and welcome in this evening edition. As a main stories we have along with the several officials of his cabinet, the Minister of Communication has went yesterday morning in the Asamo locality region of Ali Sabih. Libya's rival faction signed UN deal to end in the conflict. Being with us here on RTD, the artistic new crew stand by the sudden dates of one of their own, a great artist and comedian Orwoon Daher, known as Jeudi Matin, who passed away last night. The head of state Ismail Margili and the First Lady Khadra Mohammed Haid have addressed their deepest and sincere condolences to the family of the deceased Orwoon Daher. With the sudden news, the Djiboutian artistic family is mourning, and the country has lost one of its priceless artists and most illustrious woman who has shined in the Degan group. She has realized 20 movies and 10 theaters where she has held the main role since 1987 at the beginning of her career. She has massively contributed to the promotion of the Djiboutian culture and theaters. May the Almighty rest her soul in peace. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. First of its kind, the President of the Parliament, two Vice President, the President of the Commission, the President of the Parliamentarian Group, and the responsible administrative staff of the National Assembly have decided to get out a time of a weekend, a kind of retirement of cohesion and reflection. The objective of the Parliament by a wide drawing was to ask the balance sheet of the previous year to make the point on the advance and the difficulties encountered in the realization of the parliamentary work, and more particularly to draw the furrow the work plan of the year has come. Inal Muslim. And then the delegation of elected parliamentarians conducted by the President of the National Assembly, Mohammed Ali Hamad, visited the Sultan of Tajura, Abdul Qadir Hamad, in order to pay tribute to him and speak with him on the issues of the region. During this exchange, the President of the National Assembly has expressed his wish to open a societal debate on the role and function of the customary chief in our society. He believes that the role protector, which embodies the customary leaders, in particular in the safeguarding of the cultural identity as well as the traditional and moral values, are not sufficiently put a profit, and the company would greatly benefit in reaffirming the necessary involvement of the customary chief in the backup of the unit and the national cohesion. The elders' authorities is in some way the base on which rest of our traditional values, our cultural values. These are immutable and are at the foundation of what constitutes our identity. In an interview, the Saudi ambassador of Djibouti in Riyadh, Diaidin Said Bamakrama, stressed on the importance and the accession of the Djibouti to the Islamic coalition in the fight against terrorism. The Saudi-led alliance will be based in Riyadh to coordinate and support military operations to better fight terrorism. The coalition will tackle, he said, the Islamic world's problem with terrorism and will be a partner in the worldwide fight against this scourge in order to save international peace and security. The ambassador indicated the Islamic world is not also sparked by the horror of terrorism. That is why we need to unite our effort. And he added, Djibouti is an Arab country, member of the Arab League, which follow closely the threat of terrorists. This is the reason for which Djibouti undertake to be a member of this coalition to combat terrorists. Let's bear in mind that 34 countries have formed that coalition, which comprise Middle Eastern, African and Asian states, and more than 10 other Islamic countries had expressed support for the coalition. Let's come back now to the country news. The Minister of Communication, Post and Telecommunication Ali Hassan Bahdawi, company with the Ministry for Women Empowerment and the Family Planning Hasna Barkhat Dawood, went yesterday morning in the Asamo County region of Ali Sabih. The minister has been warmly welcomed by the prefect of the region, Mohammed Wabir Asowi, the parliamentarians of the region, leader of Ali Sabih Army Corps, the Lieutenant Abdul Wasi', Colonel Bel Mohammed, as well as the population of the Asamo County, along with several officials of his cabinet composed of the Secretary General of the Department, Ahmed Yusuf, the General Director of Djibouti Telecom, Mohammed Asowi Bouh, and Ismail Abdoudoun Younis, Technical Advisor of the Department of Communication of Post and Telecommunication. Asamo village will be connected henceforth to the third generation known as the 3G mobile network located at 27 kilometers in the city of Al Sabih. Asamo is in a mountainous place where there was connection. This parameter will no longer be an obstacle henceforth because the transmission will be via satellite. It's in this sense that the Department of Communication, Post and Telecommunication visited yesterday morning the village to consult the official commissioning of the connection to the network 3G of Djibouti Telecom. The minister and his delegation visited the installation place of the new antenna at the summit of a mountain where Djibouti Telecom has placed the 3G networks. Let's bear in mind the infrastructure of technologies, information and communication for the development of the country is rooted in the vision and the policy of the head of state Ismail Omar Aguili among his priority and imply real progress made in matters of telecommunications. Along with several officials of his cabinet, the communication minister has met the population of the locality. The chief of the locality of Asamo have welcomed this initiative, which is to connect henceforth to the 30th generation and as the 3G mobile network. The chairman of the agricultural committee of Asamo gave the minister a document of congratulation and thanks for the head of state Ismail Omar Gili. The minister has also thanked the authorities and the customary chief for the warm welcome and conveyed the greeting of the head of state Mr. Ismail Omar Gili and the first ladies. He said that the population can call or contact their family and relative wherever they are in the world. This is witnessing the progress made in matter of telecommunication in the Republic of Djibouti. And on the sidelines of the visit in the company of her colleague Ali Hassan Bahadoun, the Minister for the Advancement of Women and the Family Planning Hassan Barakat Daoud met the women of Asamo. They have stated with enthusiasm all action and training given by the government, which they benefit whatever it's with the Department of Agriculture, the training of technicians for the use of maintenance of solar panels, the dyeing of fabrics, the manufacture of soap by the Department for the Advancement of Women, access to microcredit by the Secretariat of Solidarity, as well as the training of committees of the community management placed under the leadership of the UNFD. They have affirmed their willingness to serve as model and of turners have to their fellow citizens on the whole of the territory. Women of Asamo have thanked the President of the Republic and the First Lady to the whole project put in place to improve the condition of rural women in general and Asamo in particular. Finally, they have made grievance, including the construction of a mini center in order to provide training, sell products on the earth and handicraft to tourists, as well as the granting of vehicles, property of the association to sell their product at least cost. The Minister of National Education and Vocational Training, Dr. Jama El-Meuki, is continuing his tour in the region. After Dekhil and Arta, the Minister took lunch with the teacher of the Asajog region. The Minister has been warmly welcomed by the teacher in the Palmare. This visit of the Minister is part of a meeting tour that the Minister of National Education and Vocational Training can to carry out in the region of the country in order to meet the core of the teaching system. 250 teachers of the region of Ali Sabi have taken part in the demotion of the minister and his collaborator. This breakfast is offered by the main FOP at the Ali Sabi High School. The objective was to have a moment of conviviality between the member of the education. During this lunch, the teacher of the region of Ali Sabi, through a spokesman, have strongly thanked the minister for all the achievement made for the teacher since his appointment at the head of this department, and to have made possible this space of conviviality and sharing between teacher, but also between responsible and teacher. By elsewhere, the teacher have provided to the minister a document containing the message of teacher as a joke intending for the President of the Republic of Djibouti. In his intervention, the Minister of the Region and Energy Minister Ali Yaqub Mahmoud did not fail to congratulate his colleague from the education for all the achievement made for the teachers since his appointment at the head of MINFOP, and to have made possible this space of conviviality and sharing between teachers, but also between responsible and teachers. Let's bear in mind the promotion of the national education is rooted in the vision and the policy of the Djiboutian leader Ismail Omar Guelleh among his priority. In his turn, the Education Minister took the floor to remind the noble mission of the teacher in the recognition of the national to the effort made by the teacher in the daily to transmit the knowledge. On the other hand, the minister in his speech during the lunch has attracted his attention of teacher on the role and mission of the latter to the maintenance of peace and national harmony, which are value dear to the nation. Education remains one of the key to the development of the culture and peace of the life together and the love of the homeland, he said. The minister recalled that the education remains for the head of state, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Margili, a priority of priorities, and that the status of the teacher has ceased to evolve. Finally, he has a promise to the teacher that it will ensure during his mandate at the head of the department to continue the improvement of the living condition of teacher and other educational professionals, including access to housing. Always in Asajog after the lunch with teacher in that region, the ministerial delegation went through the city of Al Sabih to carry out a food distribution to the education staff. This food composed of bags of rice, sugars, oil, dates, and cans of oil have been distributed to the guards, cleaning women, and to the schools of the Asajog region. Distribution is part of the service of gesture that the Minister of National Education and Vocational Training, Dr. Jamal Moki account brings to the personnel of the MINFOP to relieve them of the purchase of the product of first necessity. The Universal Health Insurance has for vocation to offer universal medical coverage for everyone. If activity persons contribute to their health and those of their families, those who are unable, who try to make ends meet, who live in deprived situation to treat themselves, are taken over free of charge under the Social Assistance Health Program known as PASS. Accompaniment of solidarity of the Universal Health Insurance and not known by everyone after the region of Arta National Social Security Fund mobile team has come to complete the record of eligible persons to the pass in the region of Dekhel. So, who are the persons who have the right to pass? Do they have the same offer of care that those who contribute? The answer in this report.
The Universal Health Insurance AMU has for vocation to offer universal medical coverage for everyone. If activate persons contribute to their health and those of their family, those who are unable to try to make ends meet, who live in deprived situation to treat themselves are taken over free coverage. The Social Assistance Health Program known as PASS, a component of solidarity of the Universal Health Insurance not known by everyone. After the region of Arta, the National Social Security Fund mobile team has come to complete the record of eligible persons to the pass in the region of Dekhel. So who are the persons who have the right to pass? Do they have the same offers like those who contribute? We are in Mulud, a little town under Dekhel's region prefecture, 200 kilometers south of the capital. It is here that the team of the National Social Security Fund is to register person without the pass resources. I am someone who needs assistance, whether from the government or from the society itself, and I think it is highly important to benefit from a medical free coverage of charge for people like me. Men, women, children, all persons in rural area are all registered without exception. As you can see, there are two kinds of health insurance: the active person who contribute with the AMO and those without resources covered by the pass. And our goal is to save the maximum so they can have quality care. The National Social Security Fund provides the logistic for children and women who lives in Mulud remote areas to be registered, a touching self-sacrifice. I'm so grateful to the CNSS team who carry the people of remote areas so they can benefit from the health insurance. We used to have healthcare, but the management was not full and completely free. This solidarity with the poor is the most beautiful initiative. The CNSS team have traveled throughout the Okar region during the months of November. Dekhel thus has become the second region covered by the pass after Arta. They come from every locality, and it is the case of this woman from Karta using the pass. I got my pass last year. I have been already treated here for gynecology problems, and it was free of charge. And this morning I'm here for a throat problem. I cannot swallow anything. A hospital and surgical structure with the capacity of 128 beds who provides, among other basics care, and offer specialized medical care, scanner, echographical radiology, biological and chemical analysis.
Oui, je comprends.
Arta Regional Hospital Director. Yes, I must confirm that the insured of the Solidarity Plan of the health insurance, known as the PASS, benefit from all general or specialized care offer, and the hospital of Arta do the same to those who contribute. The PASS is about to cover the whole country, but for the moment Arta and Dakhil are the only two regions who use it.
Still on the national news, following the workshop on the environmental education intended for Arabic-speaking teachers of private school, the Ministry of the Environment has organized yesterday for the Arabic-speaking teachers who have followed the workshop on visit on the different seats to be able to discover the marine protected area and its different form. This visit was conducted by the technical advisor of the Ministry of the Environment, Adan Hassan Almi, and had for objective to discover the teachers, the area protected marine, and how is unfolded to the protection of the environment. On the other hand, this visit was also intended to make people understand that the air protected marine are affordable and are also a source of income for the people who operate and protect from any kind of degradations. But elsewhere, this visit was begun by the fisheries sector of the Majok, and there several fishermen of this sector exercise the profession of fishing while ensuring the protection of the environment. On their arrival, responsible of the fishery have explained and gave information to teachers concerning the sector and how it protects the environment. Teachers have understood the utilities of marine air protecting and how it protects the environment. The visit is then continued to the zoo, home place for animals wounded or victims of trafficking. It's a real zoo welcoming of many species of wildlife. Teachers will as well benefit to visit the whole of the zoo where they discover animals. It also receives explanation of the responsible from the zoo on the maintenance of the animals and also the protection of the environment. And finally, the visit are completed at the camp ecotourism, which Duda is one of the beaches most frequently by the Djiboutian and more particularly the families who spend their weekends. After the visit, the advisor of the Department of the Environment, Mr. Adan Hassan, is informed of the objective of this visit that complement the work of the 3-day workshop for the teacher in Arabic. The creation of Marine Protect is a priority for the Department of the Environment in the framework of the strategy for the conservation of the biological diversity, both territorial and marine. He added that our country to create 7 marine and terrestrial protect, including Haramus in Duda. The population is not prohibited in this area, but it's applied to the population to make proof of rigor and to get involved in the preservation of the environment in this sector. He has clarified that the local population can practice income generating activities such as fishing and tourism. The ambassador of Qatar in Djibouti, Jassim bin Jaber Surur, has organized a great reception to Djibouti Palace Kempinski on the occasion of the National Day of Qatar. The President of the National Assembly, Mohammed Ali Ahmed, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, the Minister of Equipment and Transport, Musa Ahmed Hassan, the Minister of Higher Education and Research, Nabil Mohammed Ahmed, the representative of the diplomatic and consular, as well as the representative of the United Nations systems, and several other civil and military personalities took part at this reception. After the welcoming, the ceremony began with the salvation to the cause and by the national team of both countries, Qatar and the Republic of Djibouti. Then the ambassador of Qatar has met with the ministers and the ambassador sharing the traditional birthday cake. In his speech on this occasion, the ambassador Jassim bin Jabir Surur recalled that the date of 18 December corresponds to the foundation of the 1878 of the state of Qatar by the Sheikh Jassim bin Mohammed Al Thani. We must remember, he continued, the remarkable progress that the state of Qatar has made a generation, as well as the accurate and the success obtained thanks to God, but also to the effort and sacrifice made by all men in all the area, including policies established by the leader since the founder through the Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, has underlined the ambassador.
Sport news now. As the usual period of the year, the race of 15 kilometers Grand Para has been unfolded yesterday with the large participation of many athletes and fans from French army stationed in the country. The kick-off has been given by a plane French Mirage in the presence of the officer superior of the French army in Djibouti, including the General Zakaria and the members Athlete Federation. This year, the athletes of the Republican Guard have clearly dominated the race, and the score held by our great athlete Ahmed Salah has even been beaten by the Corporal Ibrahim Bouh, who has won the race with 42 minutes. At the end, gifts and medals have been given to the winners.
To the regional news now. Libya's two rival factions have signed a UN-backed deal to form a unity government. At the ceremony in Morocco, chant of Libya erupted as a representative for both parliaments signed the accord on Tuesday in Shirat, just south of Moroccan capital Rabat. Let's listen with more detail.
Both sides from Libya's warring factions have come together to sign a UN-brokered peace deal. 4 years after the fall of Muammar Gaddafi, Libya had split with two rival governments, a self-declared one in Tripoli and an international recognized one in the east. After more than a year of instant negotiation, the UN has proposed a unity government along with a ceasefire that will open the way for international aid and trainings to rebuild the shattered state. Martin Kobler, the UN Special Envoy for Libya, said, "From today, the agreement put in place a single set of legitimate institutions, essential building blocks toward a peaceful, secured and prosperous Libya. Your presence here today shows your commitment to a restart Libyan democratic transition." The deal flew in the face of resistance from hardliners on both sides, with critics questioning how armed faction on the ground will react to this new deal. The UN is hoping the new agreement will help in the fight against a growing Islamic State presence in the country.
David Cameron has held a big step forward in his unprecedented attempt to renegotiate Britain's relationship with the European Union. The Prime Minister spent over half an hour detailing the UK government's concerns about the EU to all 27 other leaders in the Black at the summit dinner in Brussels. Explains in this report.
British Prime Minister David Cameron closed it on a difficult reform deal with European Union leaders at a summit on Thursday, but warned there could be hard work to seal an accord by February as hoped. Cameron laid out his plan at the summit dinner in Brussels and appealed to them to work with him on his demand, including a freeze on benefit for EU migrants before he holds a referendum on impossible Brexit by the end of 2017. Really good progress has been made, but it is going to be tough, said Cameron. Nothing is uncertain in life or in Brussels, but there is always a pathway to a deal in February. Germany powerful Chancellor Angela Merkel held open the possibility that the EU founding treaty could be changed at a later date to accommodate conservative leaders. Cameron demands, which are partly driven by Eurosceptics at homes in Britain. If we need treaties changed, and I believe this could be necessary, then we all agree that they do not have to happen. But according to the British proposal, that they can take place later, said Merkel. A similar solution, delayed treaty change, were used to persuade Denmark to stay in the EU in 1992. France Hollande, however, said he was opposed to a treaty change. It seems important to me that we must not touch the treaties, and this issue must not touch the treaty because it calls free movement into questions, Hollande told in the news conference.
Still in Europe, Christine Lagarde, the head of the IMF, has said she will appeal a court decision that she must stand a trial for her role in the payment of the 404 billion euro to the French businessman. Lagarde's lawyer has said the decision was incomprehensible and that she acted in the best interest of the French state in full compliance of the law. The ruling concerned Bernard Tapie, who won French government compensation after selling his majority stake in the sports company Adidas, the Credit Lyonnais, in 1993. His case was referred to an arbitration panel by Lagarde, who was the finance minister in the Nicolas Sarkozy government at that time. The panel later subsequently awarded Tapie the money, causing a public outcry. Early this month, a French court dismissed Tapie's demand for a future payout of over €1 billion, ordering him instead to pay back the original compensation. This is the end of the edition. Thanks for being with us.